Hello, and welcome to part 2 in a series of tutorials explaining how to make roast corn soup. If you haven't already, please watch part 1 in order to have the roast corn, which will be needed to continue. You will also need the ingredients shown on screen, which can also be found in detail in the description below. The process begins by sorting through our dried beans, making sure to remove any which appear unsatisfactory. Then, continue to rinse the beans in a colander before placing in a large pot. Repeat this process with the dried roast corn, rinsing in the colander before adding to the large pot again. If you went with a freezer storage option, this part is not necessary. Once you have both ingredients ready, you may fill a large pot with water, allowing room for the ingredients to absorb. Once enough water is added, you may mix in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and finally allow to sit overnight. When we return the next day, you will see the ingredients have rehydrated, in which case we are ready to drain through a colander before once again rinsing. We will be using a 16-quart stock pan with a heavy bottom as to prevent scorching. Continue to dump the beans and roast corn in the pot before filling roughly 3/4 of the way full with water, allowing enough space for further ingredients to be added. Apply high heat and cover to allow the water to get up to boiling temp. While this is happening, we may begin cutting our frozen salt pork block, slicing into slabs before once again slicing into smaller rectangles. Now, add the cut salt pork in alongside either ham hock or bone-in pork chops, stirring well and removing the lid before allowing the pot to come to a boil yet again. Once there, reduce the heat to maintain a smaller boil, stirring occasionally for 3 hours and adding boiling water when needed. This water has to be boiling as to not disrupt the soup's temperature. Once the soup nears the end of its cook time, use a slotted spoon to retrieve the pork chop or ham hock, checking for loose bones that fell off in the soup during the process. Once you have retrieved all of the pork, continue by removing any of the bones that were left in, while breaking the pork apart into edible pieces before adding back into the pot. Once you have done this, remove from heat and allow to sit for a few minutes. You have now completed the cooking process, and the soup is ready to serve.